everyone, and welcome back to The Heir's Lair. I am your host, aspiring author Jonathan Taylor. Today, as I promised last time, I'm going to continue the Character Spotlight series, this time on a group of student characters that is somewhat more loosely defined. Once I'm done with them, I might just go through some other character groups. But until then, I still have 4 people I want to present now. The first one of these is Simon Grosjean. He is about 1 meter 83 tall. That's 6 feet for my US viewers. He has medium length black curly hair, gray eyes, a face with soft features, and a broad build, a stoutly built. He comes from a single parent household like many other characters in my novel. This time being, in this particular case, his father died in a workplace accident. Don't worry about that too much though. Simon's grandmother was often around to pick up the slack whenever she could pry herself away from the bottle. He grew up knowing that, knowing or rather being told and then internalizing the fact that his kindness and patience were his most important virtues. However, his upbringing left him with a chip on his shoulder. A chip about where he gains his strength from and how to best use it. That is something he finds is missing from the way he was brought up. One of his roommates at the International Military University, or IMU, is Claudio Cotello, who also happens to be the unofficial leader of that particular group. He is 1 meter 80 or 5'11", again for US audiences. He has short and impeccably trimmed black hair with matching black eyes, prominent cheekbones, and a very sharp jawline. And also he cuts a very lean figure. He grew up under parents that were both demanding and dismissive, and with a little sister he is very protective towards. Yeah, a lot of these characters have little sisters for some reason. Most of his favorite childhood memories stem from his vacations at his grandparents', vacations that he spent with his cousins in the small, quiet, and quite idyllic township his parents grew up in, rather than the busy, loud, and polluted city streets he spent most of his year around. And during these vacations, he and his cousins would mostly just run around and play and experiment with their magical abilities. He found that many of them have magical abilities that supersede his own, and because of that he feels a tinge of guilt over the fact that he is the only one of them who is actually privileged enough to be, or blessed enough to be able to get a high quality education, because he believes they could have done so much more with the gifts he was granted. Because of that, he tries to do his best to assure others and assure himself that this privilege isn't wasted on him. He does his best to become the role model he wishes he could be, whether that be as a soldier, as an officer, or simply as a person. Another character who is about the same height is Enzo Ferraro, one of Julia's classmates, who was also able to attend the IMU. He has as I said, he has the same height as Claudio Cotello. He has brown hair, green eyes, lantern jaw, and his figure could be described as lean muscular. He also has olive skin, similar to the one Martha has. However, he is 1 or 2 shades darker than her. He has few friends, or few people he calls close. That's more by necessity rather than choice, because not all people are trustworthy. But he does try to keep the trust and keep the peace within any group he finds himself in. He learned that from his aunt, who ultimately got to be his, who pretty much raised him as her own child after his own mother walked out on him, his sister, and their father. Their father increasingly grew absent and cold, and he went on to emulate much more from his aunt's example, and therefore he does his best to assemble a community and a support structure around him. Another one of Juliana's frenemies, though more enemy than friend, is Claudia Poltino. On the surface, the two are actually very similar. They're about the same height, have the same hair color, have their other distinctive features are also pretty similar. The main difference is Claudia cuts a leaner profile. And her backstory is pretty similar to all the other backstories I've presented in this video. She also grew up under dismissive and distant parents, and she also sought out the companionship of her cousins, most of all. However, unlike Claudio, who I mentioned before, the chip on her shoulder actually caused her to become much more ambitious and much more driven. She wants to prove others wrong. She wants to prove to others that she is, in fact, worthy of being respected and admired. And for that reason, she does her absolute best to become the absolute best at any kind of academic endeavor. Whether that be raw knowledge based, whether that be operational knowledge based, whether we're talking about combat experience, she does her best to be the best, and most of the time she actually succeeds. And because of that, she has very little patience or understanding for people who don't prove themselves to be as diligent as she is. How well will these characters fare over the course of the novel? I kind of want you to discover, and I hope you enjoy discovering it. And just as I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. If you have anything you'd like to add, the comment section is wide open. And if you want to see when the next video comes out, I'll tell you right now, it comes out next week. If you want to know when exactly next week, well, then you'll have to subscribe. Maybe ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will require of its users. And be sure to join me next time when I will start doing character spotlights on the staff of the university. Until then, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been The Heirs Lair.